Mate.
Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And I'm coming to you from Little Beach up here at Nelson Bay, a beautiful European style beach nestled between Shoal Bay and Nelson Bay. It's a beautiful summer's day, absolutely beautiful, blue sky, the water temperature is just superb. And I thought I'd just tap out another Jim's 5am Club as I've had my swim. I've built my little private pool here by the beach for the grandkids, and now it's time to just feed the soul. And the book summary that I'm coming to you with today is entitled Think Like a Freak, and it's got a dual authorship. The authors are Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dunbar. So one Stephen is with a V and the other one is with a PH. So an interesting book in terms of how to think and how to shape the world you have around you. And let's just go through it and just see where it takes us, where it leads us on this awesome day. So the author kicks off with a lovely little quote, and the quote goes as follows: "Don't listen to what people say, but watch what they do." I love that. Don't listen to what people say, but watch what they do, because we're in a world now of which is characterised by opposites. People say one thing and they do something completely different. It's puzzling, it's unnerving sometimes, but it's an interesting thing to be an observer of social behaviour, because as we say, what people say and what they do are completely different things. And the author then calls us to action in a powerful way, and he said that we need to learn to reject conventional wisdom as often as possible and ask our own right questions about everything and come up with our own statistically validated answers. So just use our own critical thinking rather than just take things for face value, and not to spend our lives relying on other people's opinions or what appears to be common sense, because the world is rapidly changing and we all have, as we say, a different present and a different future, and we need to map out our own world and our own decisions rather than relying on what other people think and what conventional wisdom has come about over the years. So the author then comes up with 3 points in this book. And point number 1 is, what would you rather be? Would you rather be right, or would you rather be run after? And the author then enlightens us to basically say, not everyone will like us, because by thinking outside the box, by using our own critical thinking and not being swayed by conventional wisdom, we're going to be shaking up their world, the world that they know and the world that they're comfortable in. So obviously, if you have divergent thoughts, or if you challenge their thoughts or their actions, then you're not going to be popular. So you've got to understand that what you do may come adrift in terms of your friendships, your family, your work peers. But at the end of the day, we need to all navigate our own waters and get to the unique destinations that we all have owing to us. And the author here talks about something else which was new to me. I wasn't quite aware of this. And it's an observation about soccer and about goalkeepers and how people take penalty kicks. what they say is that statistically 57% of kickers of penalties kick to the left, to their left. So from right to left, which is to the goalkeeper's right hand side. So most times the kicker will kick to the left, to their left. So that's 50%, 51% of their, 57% of their time. But interestingly enough, 41% of the time, the kicker will kick to their right, to the other side. So a goal kicker will either go to the left or go to the right in order to protect the ball most of the time. So that leaves, there's also a gap. There's a 2% chance of the ball being kicked straight to the goalkeeper, or straight to the centre, I should say, which means that you have the highest probability of scoring a goal by kicking it straight to the centre, because the goalkeeper most probably is going to anticipate to their right 57% of the time, to the left 41% of the time, but the most obvious place to kick it is right up the centre. But the reason why people don't kick to the centre when they're kicking a penalty is that by kicking to the centre, if the goalie saves it, then they'll look stupid, they'll look foolish, because the crowd will think that they've wasted an opportunity. But the reality is, if you go on percentages in terms of outsmarting the goalie, then kicking to the centre is the place to kick. But as we said, most goalies or most penalty kickers won't kick it to the centre for fear of being ridiculed and looking like a soft cock. Anyway, the next point that the author talks about in this wonderful book is that we need to find better solutions to problems. And in order to find better solutions to problems, we need to observe how incentives actually impact human behaviour in the real world. Because people behave in a way which matches their interests. So the author suggests here, or says, that what gets people to actually do things is rarely obvious. But you need to be on the lookout for what actual incentive and personal gain they have coming their way, and that will give you the highest and strongest clue into why they're doing certain things, because it's impacting them and they have a benefit to gain from it. So let's have a look at the third point in this book. So the author once again has a call to action to let go of conventional wisdom, because by letting go of conventional wisdom, according to the author, will most likely make you happier, because conventional wisdom is often wrong anyway. So the bottom line here from what the author is suggesting is that we need to become annoyingly happy by doing what is right for us, for doing what is right for you, and that is probably the most important thing, the most important lesson to gain out of this wonderful book summary. The next point that the author talks about is that the only things that help you win is quitting, as long as you are quitting strategically. It's a good point, this one here, because if you sit and stick to something continuously, and if you're too scared to quit for fear of being ridiculed or fear for being dubbed a quitter, you know, sometimes you just need to make a decision to quit. And the best way of quitting is to strategically say, that I'm quitting, and I'm quitting for reasons A, B and C. As long as you know why you're quitting, then you're answerable to nobody, is the message which comes from this book. Because we've got a number of things working against us. There are a number of biases working against quitting, which make it difficult for us to quit. But if we don't quit certain things, then we'll end up being pained by regret or by continuing to do things which are not going to benefit us in the long run anyway. So the author introduces us to 3 types of biases which impact our decisions to quit. So it's always good to be aware of it. The first bias is that we have social pressure around us. Groupthink, social pressure, and there are people putting pressure on us to continue doing what we're doing in order to maintain their balance and their world. But don't worry about looking weak by quitting, as we said before, as long as you're quitting for the right reasons. You're quitting for a strategically stated reason that you've been able to come up with and articulate. And if you've decided to quit something for a particular reason, then don't ever fear social pressure, because at the end of the day, you're accountable to yourself and you're responsible for your future, and nobody else is. So it's your call. It's your call, and it's always going to be your call. The second point that the author talks about here in terms of the social or the biases working against you quitting are the sunk costs. A lot of people fail to quit or fail to change direction or fail to change what they're doing because they've been working at it for so long and they have sunk costs, or they can feel that they're invested in what they're doing. And it keeps them from doing other things. What you've got to understand is that at some point in time, you're going to have to decide to stop doing what you're doing, regardless of how invested you are. If you realise that it's not leading you in the direction or delivering to you the results and fruits that you've always desired to have. So don't worry about the sunk costs. Even if you've been working at it for a lifetime, there comes a point to end. Everything must come to an end at some point in time, and we've got to move on to bigger and better things. And the third bias working is the opportunity cost. So you've got to understand that regardless of how much sunk cost you've got in something, when you're doing one particular thing and it's leading you astray, or it's leading you somewhere where it's not delivering you the results you need, there's an opportunity cost that you could be doing something else that could be giving you a better life, better outcomes, better results. So you always need to weigh up what you're currently doing, what you're currently invested in, with what other thing you could be doing, which could possibly be giving you better results and better outcomes. I guess the trick is not to be chopping and changing at every decision point, because you need to stick to things. So stickability is a critical thing in order to be successful, in order to be happy, and in order to achieve massive things in your life. But you also got to understand that there comes a point where certain opportunities pop up from time to time, where unless you grab them with both hands, 10 fingers and both arms, then you'll never be able to maximise that opportunity. So once again, that's an assessment, that's an individual assessment that we all need to make at certain points of our lives, and it's something that you shouldn't shy away from. And I always talk to my share broker, and we're always talking about, whether or not we hold on to shares that we're losing on, or whether or not we should just cut our losses and shift our money into another opportunity. And my catch cry with my share broker is, I want you to place me in front of explosive growth at every opportunity. And if it means losing money on a trade, but making more money on another trade, then that's what we need to do, and that's the tactic that we need to follow. So the bottom line from this author is that quitting is not an ugly word. Quitting makes people happy for the right reasons. As long as those reasons are right for you, then as we said before, it's your accountability, it's your responsibility, and you're answerable to nobody. And you just need to cut to the chase and make a decision that works for you. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club for this wonderful book summary, this relaxed book summary here from Nelson Bay. The book entitled Think Like a Freak by the dual authorship of Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dunbar. Let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's not worry about quitting as long as you're quitting for the right reasons. And just look at for opportunity, and to understand that you either stick to it for the right reasons, or you break away from it for the right reasons. And that right reason is the right reason for you and not for anybody else. So once again, another wonderful book summary. So I look forward to coming to you again tomorrow from a different location with a different message. Don't know where I'll be, don't know what I'll be talking about, but I think I'll be spending most of the day here at the beach. So I'll be clicking away and just doing as many book summaries from this relaxed European-style Australian beach up here on the mid-north coast at Nelson Bay. And I bid you farewell. Yassas from Jim's 5am Club. Filakia, and we'll chat again. Take care and bye for now.